Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining the session. In the interest of everybody who's logged in on time, I think we should kickstart and others can join in. So today, just a quick introduction. My name is Santosh. I'm the founder of ATS Consulting. We do leadership hiring and HR advisory for the social sector. We've been doing that since 2016. This is part of our initiative where we get to work with NGOs by offering technical and non-technical training, maybe once a quarter or more, depending on how the response is. Today's session is going to be hosted by Asmita, has been the CHRO of Dastra. She's also worked with Godrej and Wipro in leadership roles. Today, she'll be taking us through cultivating growth mindset, which is a very important topic since many of us get caught up in our daily life and we get caught up in the way we work. It's important that we break the way we think at times to grow. And that is what we'll try to achieve in this session. So over to you.
Thank you, Santosh, for the introduction. And without much ado, we'll jump right into the session. And what we will do is we'll first start by looking at what mindset is and what are the mindsets that limit our growth and stop us from achieving our full potential. And what are those mindsets that help us thrive and succeed? After that, we will look at what is the definition of mindset and why it matters and share a little bit about how it really relates to success in life, whether you're talking about your personal life, business, growth, relationships. And finally, we look at how we can foster a growth mindset within ourselves and in our teams, and how we can do that by reframing our thoughts and perceiving challenges. So that is how we are going to structure our conversation today. So let's jump in. And let me first ask you, when I say the word mindset, what really comes up? What do you think is a mindset? And you can either type on chat or you can raise your hand and unmute and tell us. What do you think? What do you understand when we use the word mindset? Set of beliefs, yes. Thank you, Ganesh. What else? The way we perceive things. Absolutely. Absolutely. The way we perceive things. Yes, Payal, you're bang on, right? What else? Beliefs, perceptions, processes. Absolutely. So you've all got it right. It is all of those. So mindset is actually a set of beliefs. And the mindset is just more than what your mind is. It goes way beyond just the mind. It is actually the filter through which you interact with the world. So it influences your work, your business, academics, relationships, family, all of it. And it is the view that you adopt both for yourself and others. So the way you perceive yourself and the way you perceive others and the world around you will also determine what is your approach and reaction to setbacks and successes. And typically, it is created through our early childhood influences and the messages that we receive from our parents, teachers, friends, which then we internalize and then they will become our beliefs. Now, do you think a mindset can change? Do you think, if you think yes, it can change, type a Y. If you think it cannot change, it pretty much stay stable through lifetime, type a no. Why? Okay. Oh, that's wonderful. So most of you do believe that mindset can change. And that's again very true that whatever we feed our mindset will become that. Mindsets become stronger the more we repeat and practice our mindset. So if we want to break our mindset, we need to think differently and practice differently. And the more we do that, the more we have the ability to change a certain mindset. Why are we, and how, like, let's look at what is the anatomy of this mindset. What is visible to us is actually our conscious mind, which is our conscious mind is about critical thinking, logical thinking, willpower, short-term memory, which is just 10% of the mind. So how many times you would have had an instance where you would really make a resolution and with all your determination and all your willpower, you want to change your habit and you make an effort and it doesn't work. Has it happened to you that you pushed yourself, you used all your willpower, and yet with all the good intention, with all the good practice, with all everything, you haven't been able to do it? Has that happened to anyone here? Quite often? Yes, thank you for just sitting. What about others? And you wonder, right? That you've got a perfect plan, you made a to-do list, you know exactly what to do, you've charted out every single detail, and you're putting in all your effort, and yet something is standing in the way. And what could be coming in our way? What do you think is coming in our way? We have all the right intentions. Any guesses? What comes in our way? Determination, yes. At times, but it's more to that. The way we think, absolutely. So it is what is driving us is actually our subconscious mind, which is our limiting beliefs. Yes, it is that thing which is below the iceberg, the 90% that is not visible, which is our values, which is our beliefs, which is the emotions and feelings that we have, which we carry for a long time, possibly conditioned through childhood, which is not articulated, but which determines our behavior. So, if we want to change something in our life, we have to change the fundamental underlying beliefs that are there and question them. And today's session is largely going to be an effort into looking at how to we do that. Why are we spending so much of time on mindset? Why do you think what makes this so important? What makes this so important? It is important because, as you will see, that it's really everything. It is the biggest, most powerful asset you have, and by far the best thing that you can invest in because it will determine your thinking, which in turn will determine your behavior, which in turn will determine the results that you get. And this mindset work will rarely be finished. So every single day, for example, I have to work on my mindset. And I find that it helps me in all areas of my life, in my work, in my relationships, and most importantly, with the relationship that I have with myself. So just remember that as soon as you can uncover some blocks, some others will also arise. And this mindset work is an ongoing project throughout your life. If you believe that you've uncovered something and the work is finished, no, that's not how it's going to be. You will have to constantly be at it, be deeply aware of what are those thinking patterns, what are those underlying beliefs, what are those values that are guiding you. And once you can do that and work on yourself and change, then you will also be able to inspire others to do the same and reap the rewards of an incredible personal and team success. Now, let's look at the activity that we propose to do. Let me ask you. First of all, for this exercise, we need everyone to have a pen or pencil handy and a piece of paper. So it doesn't have to be a big one, just a small piece of paper and a writing instrument. So do you have it? Yeah. So my question to you is going to be, and you have to either raise your hand or put on chat. The question is, how many of you would say that you can draw? Raise your hands if you think you can draw, or write yes on chat, Y for yes and N for no. If I ask you how many of you can draw, yes, no, yes, no, no, yes. Okay, so we have some mixed responses, a couple yeses and a couple no's. Okay. Okay, so let me ask you to do exercise. We are all going to draw a cartoon face. So have your pens and paper and pencils handy. And I'm going to give you instructions and we're going to do a cartoon face drawing. Is that okay? So let me get on with the instructions. Okay. In the very middle of your page, draw an upright oval shape. Draw an upright oval shape, and this outlines the shape of the cartoon face. Everybody just draw an upright oval face, oval in the middle of your page. Now, step 2, draw the outline of the face, and on both sides of the face, draw the ears. So simply draw a curved line which goes towards the face. And don't forget to add curved lines inside each ear to create an illusion of an inside ear. So just draw curved lines that will show the ear. Okay, done. Let's move to step 3. Now add the hair. And you can draw the hairline just above the forehead and then draw the outline of the hair above the hairline. And of course, you have the liberty to choose any hairstyle you prefer. So let your imagination take over. After all, it's your work of art. So you can make it as creative as you want. So give it a nice hairstyle. Okay. After this, below the hairline, we want you to draw two upright oval shapes. And these two circle shapes, the two oval shapes, we want you to draw two circle shapes within the outline of the oval shape, which will depict the eyes. And this will outline the iris inside of the eyes. What you can also do is shade the circles while leaving a tiny dot unshaded to create a impression of a glimmering eye. Guessing it's done. We'll now move to step 5, where we're going to draw the nose. So you can draw an upward curved line below the eyes. And to ensure that the nose is positioned correctly, it should be situated right in between and underneath the eyes. And again, you can make the nose as big, as small, as sharp as you want, depending on how you want your cartoon face's nose to be. Now, step 6. Put a wide smile on the face. And it's time to give your cartoon a nice facial expression by drawing a huge grin. So it will be an upward curved line and you can underneath the nose. And this outlines the mouth of the cartoon face. So again, you can keep the grin as broad or as you like it to be. Then step 7, you can draw the eyebrows of the cartoon face. So draw an arched eyebrow above each eye. And the inner edge of the eyebrow can be curved while the outer edge can be pointed. And lastly, you can give it a blushing effect on the cheek by drawing two round ovals. Have you been able to do it? And if you have, put a yes and maybe switch on your cameras and show us your pictures. Let's see how it looks. Let's see how your pictures look and tell us if you were able to draw this cartoon face. Can you put on your cameras, please? And show us. Oh, wow. Thank you, Mohana and Asha. Thank you. And Sangeeta. Wow. Ganesh's face is a really nice smiling face. And Nirmala, thank you. Put it a little more up. Anju, thank you. Lovely. Thank you so much. That's so nice. Thank you. Thank you so much for your participation. And so I think if you all look at your drawings, you'll see that with a little effort, a little bit of instruction, and some willingness, all of you can draw. Even if you weren't one of those who raised their hands and said, yes, you put a no, even then you could draw. And with a few variations, you can change the nose, add a pair of glasses, put a little hair, make simple lines to draw the neck, and you could do all sorts of characters. And I'm sure as you did this, now you feel more confident that while initially you may have said, I can't draw, that with a little help, a little effort, you can do it. And taking this effort and doing it is all that it's about the growth mind. So the concept that we're talking about, just nudging yourself, taking that effort, showing that willingness with a little bit of help and instruction, being able to do it and taking that plunge is all that growth mindset is all about. So think, what exactly do we mean by growth mindset? So what we want you to do is we want you to answer a poll for us. Now, told you what is a growth mindset, but you can now respond on these 5 options and tell us what you think is a growth mindset. Can everybody see the poll? Has everyone been able to submit? Yes? Okay, lovely. Lovely. Let's then take a look at what the results are. Okay, wow. This is amazing. 80% of you think that it is believing that a person's abilities are innate, but can be developed over time. Okay. Promising positivity, believe that. Okay. The Correct answer is the last one, which 80% of you have responded, which is believing in a person's abilities, that they aren't innate and they can be developed over a period of time. That is the right answer. Now, quite often, what happens is we tend to confuse growth mindset with believing that it's just about being open minded or just about having positive attitude or setting ourselves ambitious goals and working hard. And if we just have that, everything is going to work out. But that by itself is not the growth mindset. The growth mindset is about a fundamental belief that talent is not innate. It's not like we are born with a fixed or a limited amount of talent. We believe growth mindset is that talent is malleable over time with the right investment, with the right mindset, with the right effort, with the right persistence, with the right guidance. You can build on that and both intelligence, skills, and competencies. You can grow that over a period of time rather than believing that talent is a fixed thing, that you either have it or you don't have. So when you inculcate this mindset, what happens is that you have a belief there that I can develop, I can do something, which in turn leads you to behave in ways where you are willing to take that effort, you're willing to make that investment, you're willing to stretch and things which gets you the results. And when you get the results, you do more of that. So it again reinforces that behavior, which in turn reinforces the belief. Uh, so that is what a growth mindset is. Now, people often confuse a growth mindset with being flexible or open minded or having a positive outlook. Qualities we believe that we always have, so we don't need to do anything. Now, that is called a false growth mindset. It has to have this element of believing that I can actually, my talent is something which is malleable and which can grow over a period of time. Let me tell you a little about how this concept of growth mindset came about. The person that you see on the screen, that is Dr. Karen Dweck. And Dr. Karen Dweck is a psychologist in Stanford, and she is Stanford professor. She has a very famous Dr. Karen Dweck. She had done her TED talk, which you may have heard about. It's called The Power of Believing You Can Improve. She's a psychologist at Stanford. She's a Harvard Business Review contributor. And she's also written this book called Mindset, The New Psychology of Success. Now, how she started was she started this work with school kids. The youngest, who was 6 years old, and she was very curious to know why some students were not interested in anything, but just in the marks that they got on their test. So when they got their test papers back, they looked at their marks and they would be okay. And then they would just put their papers aside, whether the marks were good or they were bad. And then there were this other set of kids who really looked at their test and looked at what they got and what they got right and what they got wrong. And then they got curious. They talked to other fellow students or they asked the teacher, what did I do right? Why did I do wrong? Why did you not give me marks for this? Or they looked through their notes to figure out where they had made a mistake or what they could learn. And she was curious, like, why is there a difference between these two set of kids? So she started noticing also around puzzles. So whether you take puzzles or the normal jigsaw puzzle or the Rubik cube, and she saw that some kids stayed with it longer than others. And this is what started her thinking about mindset. And she realized that there are some who believed they could improve and get better. So they stuck with it. And when they stuck with it, they experienced a growth mindset. Whereas there were others who didn't think they could improve, so they quit. The moment the puzzle got difficult, they quit sooner. And or they just took their mark sheets. And this was the notion of the fixed mindset. So this is how she coined the two terms called fixed mindset and growth mindset. And she said that the growth mindset really is what is a determinant of success and how we can fulfill our potential, our full potential. And then she started bringing that work into the workplace to see how in business and in offices across the globe it shows up. This whole thing around fixed mindset and growth mindset. Let me ask you, have you experienced anything like this? And is there anything that you'd like to share from what your lived experience around growth mindset has been in your personal life or in your work life? Anyone would like to share? Okay.
Yeah, I would like to share where I had faced a challenge with the social media thing, the Instagram and all that, which I was not that very well versed with. So I had that mindset saying that I might not be able to do it. But then I pushed myself. I researched, I saw some videos, took my friend's help, and I could do it. So nothing that I could not do it. It was pretty simple. Just that I was not confident to do it. I was like scared, might be I'll go wrong. That made me not to do it. But now I'm little better with that. So that is one thing that I faced.
Thank you. Thank you, Asha, for sharing. Anyone else wants to share how they have seen it or not seen it or have felt constrained with it? Okay. So I can share my example. I've had a huge mindset block around technology, believing this is something well beyond me. And for the longest time, I was doing a research and I had to I had to do data analysis using Google Forms with large sets of data and analysis. And for the longest time, I thought I won't be able to do it. But then finally, I did plunge into it and I asked for help. Surprisingly, a lot of people came forward and taught me how to navigate through it, and I was able to do it well. So I've overcome that fear. Okay, let's look at when you have a fixed mindset, what are the messages or what is it that you're telling yourself? So we tend to tell ourselves, I always make mistakes. For example, in this presentation, for example, if I get a data wrong, or if my slide stops working, or I go far, if I have a fixed mindset, I will say, oh God, it's always happening with me. I'll never get it right. I'll never be good at it. I'm always going to whatever and I'll get stuck. Whereas if I have a growth mindset, I will say, okay, this is something I didn't think about and I need to get better at it. Or I will own up if I have a wrong data that has been presented. I will say, oh my God, I didn't realize. I need to look into it and I'll be careful the next time. Likewise, fixed mindset will be, I don't understand and I will never understand. This is way beyond. I just don't have the intellect to get it. Or for that matter, our clients will not understand us, our children will never understand us, our bosses will never understand us. We stay in that trap and we don't even try to express what we want to be understood for. Or we'll say, this is too hard. I just don't have it. I don't have the intellect. I don't have the capacity, the capability, and it's well beyond. A lot of times you get into comparisons, you'll say, I'll never be as smart as them. ABC is always going to be smarter, better, more capable, more intelligent, more competent, more successful, and I will never get there, so I give up. Or I can't make this better, or this is too hard and I can't do it, or I can't handle something. So we have different things that we keep telling ourselves, and each of us have this. Okay, let's then look at some of the guiding principles behind fixed and growth mindset. So when you are in a fixed mindset, the innate belief is that people are born smart. So I'm either born smart or I'm not smart. So skills, talent, intelligence, all of it, I either have it or I don't. And if I don't have it, then I give up. And if I have it, then too good for me. I don't need to do anything because I'm so smart. It just comes naturally. There is nothing else that I need to do. Whereas in a growth mindset, the belief is that I'm learning and I'm learning is a continuous journey. I'm learning every single day. And even if I don't seem to have the level of expertise, skills, talent today, I believe that with learning, over a period of time, I am going to get it and I'm going to grow and I'm going to build my competency and muscle around the skill that I'm hoping to. So that is one of the innate mindsets. Once where the focus is. In a fixed mindset, the focus is on either I am good or not. So it's a very outward focus where you're very worried about how the world is judging you. So you're concerned with others' perception of you. You want to be seen as good. You worry if people will see you as not competent enough, not good enough, not intelligent enough. And you cared so much, therefore, about the performance and outcomes. And as a result, the focus, instead of being on learning and how you can grow and how you can develop, is more around how you can portray or project to people how good you are. And whenever you face a situation where you think you will not be able to portray how good you are, you decide not to do it at all because there is a fear of being exposed. You feel that, oh my God, people will now know that I don't know to do this well, or this is not a capability or a competency over which I have mastery. So let me not even do it. Let me stay away from it. So the focus is very outward, and everything depends on how other people view you, which then becomes, it really limits and narrows your world. Because imagine you can't be good in everything. There will be some things that you're good at and some things that you're learning to be good at. But what happens is if you want to be seen as the best, or you want to be like, you care so much about others, then you limit your world of opportunity and so many other things that you can do, you deny yourself the permission to do. Whereas if you're in a growth mindset, you're telling yourself that everything is a process of learning and you're concerned with improving and getting better, and you're competing with yourself. So you're telling yourself that I may still not have mastery, but I'm learning this, and at least I'm better than what I was last week or last month or last year. And little by little, bit by bit, I am getting there. And I am in that journey, in that process of learning. These are like fundamental differences that are there. So let's look at how it will show up in the workplace, right? Let's look at a fixed mindset. For example, in the fixed mindset, I will say either I am good at it or I am not good at it. What do you think a person, how will you reframe this in a growth mindset? Anyone can unmute or type on chat. How would you reframe this? Either I'm good or I am not. How would you reframe?
Think the rephrasing will be on the lines of I might not know how to do it, but I will figure it out. I'll learn about it. I'll
Absolutely.
manage
Yes.
it.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. That's valid. So, yes, I can learn to do anything that I want to do. Absolutely. Okay. Let's look at the next one. That's just who I am. I can't change it. How would you reframe that? That's just who I am and I can't change it. How would you change that? Tell yourself that I'm constantly evolving. I'm a constantly evolving work in progress. So I'm a work in progress and I'm constantly evolving. Okay, let's get to the next one, where you're telling yourself that if you must work hard, if you must work hard, you don't have the ability. So you'll reframe it to saying that the more you challenge yourself, the smarter you become. Now, this is a very important point because people in the fixed mindset believe that if I am gifted, if I am talented, then why should I have to work hard? And if I have to work hard, it only means, it only shows that I don't have adequate talent. I'm not adequately gifted, which is why I have to put in so much effort. So I must not be good if I have to work hard. It just has to come naturally. Whereas in a growth mindset, you challenge yourself and you believe like any other skill, it's a skill and skill building takes time. And the more you are at it, the more you will get better. So that is a fundamental difference. And also, as you think about these statements, think about how it reflects in the work ethic, in your workplaces. What happens when you hold a mindset of either kinds and how it shows up when you're dealing with people and how they are approaching work. So think about it at the backdrop. The next one. If I don't try, then I won't fail, is what the fixed mindset person says. Whereas in the growth mindset, you're telling yourself that I will only fail when I stop trying. Likewise, in a fixed mindset, there is a internal job posting that comes out, or there is a damn good challenging assignment that is there, which you haven't done before. It's a new territory. In a fixed mindset, you'll tell yourself that job position is totally out of my league. I haven't done it. I can't do it. I will only fail. Whereas if you have a growth mindset, you tell yourself that that job position looks challenging. Let me apply for it and let's see what evolves. So that is how the two mindsets did. Now, let's look at also how does it show up in our processes, in our culture, in the way we engage with people. So let's take feedback. For example, in the fixed mindset, when we receive feedback, that feedback is seen as a threat, and people become defensive and they take it personally. So if somebody tells me that this presentation, you could have made it more engaging and you could have done this and that and whatever, my first reaction in the fixed mindset will be, oh my God, this I will take it very personally. I will become defensive. I will see it as a threat. I will see it as, oh, this person doesn't like me, or this person is trying to show me down, or they're trying to score one over me. And my mind will be blocked and I will see the person as my enemy for giving that feedback. Whereas if I have a growth mindset, then I will use this opportunity and ask myself, oh, wow, there's a new input I'm getting. There's a nugget of wisdom here. And how can I use this feedback to ensure that the next time I'm making a presentation, I'm more impactful and more engaging? Also, let's look at how we look at mistakes. So even mistakes, we try avoid making them. And sometimes in an effort to avoid making mistakes, we don't do the task itself. We don't take on those challenging assignments. We say no to important things that can give us visibility, getting out of our comfort zone because we don't want to make mistakes. And every time we make a mistake, we get discouraged and we tell ourselves, oh, you're so bad. You can't do it. You don't have the talent. You will never get it. Our inner critic becomes alive. Whereas in a growth mindset, you're seeing again learning as an experience where it's part of your growth journey and your evolution. Again, in terms of efforts, in a fixed mindset, you think of it as not necessary, not useful, that you'll never gain mastery. Whereas in a growth mindset, you know that the only way to gain mastery, the only way is to put in efforts. And there is this very famous book by Malcolm Gladwell called Outliers, which says that to gain real mastery, like if you look at the top sportsmen, the top in any of their fields, they say you need 10,000 hours of effort to go in, which is really long, right? So anyone who becomes that world famous, that whatever, has put in that effort to reach where they are, and they show a growth. Likewise, challenges. You avoid challenges and back off and see it as a threat in a fixed mindset, while in a growth mindset, you would embrace and preserve it, persevere, see it as opportunities, and stay on course. So there are multiple examples of people we have seen who started off maybe very similarly, both equally talented or one more talented than the, but because somebody had a fixed mindset, their career trajectory was very different from somebody who may have been mediocre or equally talented, but really moved ahead in life because they had the perseverance. And do you have any examples that come to your mind? Anything that you have thought of? We're going to give you some cues here. So we're going to ask you to guess this cricketer. And the first cue is that Mr. Ramakant Achrekar was his coach and guru. Yes. Thank you, Anju. Yes, it is Tendulkar, Sachin Tendulkar. Yes, Rahul, thank you so much. Yes. And my life size statue was unveiled during the World Cup inside the Wankhede Stadium. Yes, you got it. And he's the Bharat Ratna too, right? Yes, that's right. Now, oh my God, even before I said it, thank you, Gaurav. You've been very proactive. Okay. Oh, Sachin Tendulkar had a compatriot, was also had the same coach. They attended the same school, and things turned out very different. And maybe, Gaurav, would you like to share what do you know and what do you think happened?
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I believe both are in same cricket academy, and Archrekar was mentor. And both started very well to play, but at the end, Vinod Kambli play a few matches of India, and then after his career stopped, and Sachin is become a god of cricket.
Yeah.
So this is the story in short.
Yes. And some people actually at one point thought that Vinod Kambli was more talented and showed more potential than Sachin Tendulkar. So, among many things, what do you think happened here? What really contributed to Sachin's success and what came in the way of Vinod Kambli's downfall? What really was the difference for both of them? They started off pretty much alike.
The Vinod Kambli is the natural cricketer, and they also believe that they not need to practice. They are a very good player. So they
Yeah.
stop and they
Yeah. No, and you can please talk
Yeah.
in Hindi or any language that.
हाँ, और उन्होंने अपना ध्यान बाकी चीज़ों में ज़्यादा लगा दिया और सचिन क्रिकेट पे फोकस रहे।
बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल। और विनोद का जो मैंने पढ़ा है कि उनका कुछ शॉर्ट बॉल जो होता था फास्ट पेस्ड बॉलर्स का, वो नहीं, he was not able to do that well and he never really worked hard to overcome.
Yes.
Whereas Sachin Tendulkar used every opportunity, even after he became a star, to continue his practice, to continue his sadhana, as they say, cricket, and learn. And that learning never stopped for him. And setbacks never stopped for him. It wasn't that Sachin didn't experience setbacks. He also had setbacks, but he took it as a learning opportunity and learned from his mistakes and became an even better player. Whereas for Vinod Kambli, he was not able to emotionally regulate himself and got into personal attacks and bad behavior and emotional outbursts. And his focus shifted from how can I improve and what can I do to a lot of blaming what is happening around him and not taking personal accountability. And eventually, it's really tragic that after being such a talented player, he became so obscure and he just became invisible over. Any other figures, characters that you know that from history that are similar? Okay. So another person that I know of is Roger Federer. He was a tennis superstar. And again, he's possibly got the record for winning 8 straight Wimbledons and 20 Grand Slam men's singles. And again, what they say about him is that one of the statements made about him was that he played every event as if it was his first event. That is the kind of effort that he put in, and he accepted all the circumstances and focus on what would be his next move. He would just focus on his game. However bad the situation was, he would just focus on his game and come back and deal with setbacks and making him a stronger, whole standard player. So that's really what champions are made of. So let's then look at what really then is mindset explaining to us. What is this whole thing about mindset telling us? It's telling us why brains and talent alone won't bring us. That by itself, having a lot of intelligence is not good by itself. And sometimes it can stand in the way of success because I think I'm so intelligent, I don't need to study, I don't need to put effort, I'll get it. Whereas you remember the tortoise and the hare story, right? The tortoise persevered, whereas the hare slipped, thinking this is so easy, nothing will come in my. And why? Okay, then it also says praising intelligence doesn't really foster accomplishment but jeopardize it. बेसिकली हम बोल रहे हैं कि अगर हम किसी को उसके इंटेलिजेंस के लिए तारीफ करें तो उसके प्रोग्रेस में वो हेल्प नहीं करता लेकिन बाधा डालता. ऐसे अब क्यों हो सकता है? Why do you think this happens? Why would praising somebody for their intelligence come in the way of their growth? Any ideas? Overconfidence, yes.
Then they'll believe that just their accomplishments in form of knowledge will get them wherever they need to be. But that's not the case.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you're bang on. And this is also for many of you who may be parents here. It's also a great lesson in parenting because they say that when you tell your children that, oh, you're so smart, you're so intelligent, you get it so well, actually you're telling them that this is something that you have innately. So what we are saying is, we're not saying that don't praise, but don't praise them for being innately smart. Praise them for the effort that they have put in. That you've put in so many hours of effort, or you did this again, or you took help from somebody and you are improving, so that they learn that it is not about I have it or I don't have it, but it is not about the outcome. It is not about great, you got 100 out of 100. It is about you got 100 out of 100 because you put in so much effort, because you studied, because you did, because you cut down on your TV and your other entertainment. So focus more on the process and just not on the outcome, so that children learn. And likewise, in our offices also, right? And they say how teaching a simple idea about the mindset can raise performance and productivity. So again, when people learn this idea of growth mindset, then they know that everybody then has a chance. Everybody has an opportunity to put in effort and improve and do things that they earlier thought was impossible for them. So which is why it becomes critical. Okay. Let's now look at how can, so we've understood so far what we've looked at is the defined mindset, what's a growth mindset. Now let's look at, if I have to develop this growth mindset, what do I need to do? And we'll go, let me reference Einstein, because a person who was supposed to be considered a genius, this is a statement he made. He said, it's not that I'm so smart. It's just that I stay with the problem longer. I have no special talents. I'm only passionately curious. See, even a scientist as eminent as Einstein is telling us that it is just about staying with the problem longer. So I just want you to know that if somebody like Einstein says that, it applies to all of us. And now the thing is, how do we create this growth mindset? And what can you do for it? So first thing, learn to hear your fixed mindset voice. Now, it's important to know that it's not a dichotomy. It's not like you are in a growth mindset. It's a either or, that you're in a growth mindset or you're in a fixed mindset. We are all in a continuum. We are somewhere in between. And for some things, we may be in a fixed mindset, and for some things, we may be in a growth mindset. So, for example, when it comes to technology, when it comes to public speaking, when it comes to understanding finances, I may be in a fixed mindset where something within me freezes and I say that, oh my God, this is beyond me, I can't. But for many other things in life, I may be in a growth. So, what is important is for you to hear that inner voice, that whenever you're approaching a challenge, what are those situations? What are those triggers where that fixed mindset is getting activated and you're telling yourself, oh my God, I'm going to fail. People are going to laugh at me. Or you're trying to defend yourself saying that it's not my fault. I'm not capable. So identify that first, that what are those self-limiting beliefs? What are those facets? What are those areas in your life where this fixed mindset voice is approaching and coming? Now, how will you do that? You can break it down and you add a couple of steps. So first, reflect. Identify, when does it show? Once you have done that, ask yourself, how does it make you feel? So when I think of myself that I'm never going to understand technology, it makes me feel helpless. It makes me feel hopeless. It makes me feel frustrated. It makes me feel scared. It makes me feel fearful. I mean, because there is so much of fear in me, I may not even attempt it. So understand what feelings it is evoking in. And then how does it affect you in terms of your behavior, your relationships, your goals? So for example, if I feel fear that, oh my God, if people look at my presentation and they're going to laugh at me, or and I can never do public speaking, then I will never do it. Or if I even do it, I will be so nervous that I will be barely able to, because at the back of my mind, I'm always feeling, oh my God, I'm not good at it. I can't do it. Or I'm comparing myself with the best in the world and saying, oh my God, look at how well Obama does it. Why can't I do it? Even in your relationships, if you think that this person is like that, or you take a view that this relationship can never be improved, we are always going to have trouble, we are always going to be fighting with each other or whatever, and there is no way that nothing things can change, then you will approach the relationship very differently vis-a-vis if you tell yourself that we are all learning, we are all growing. There are things that we can all do and become better at in expressing our emotions, expressing our concerns, in having more productive conversations, and then you will invest in your relationship. Likewise with your goals. A lot of times you give up on your goals because you believe that you can't. And many of you here are leaders. You may be entrepreneurs. You may be as individuals. As you give up your goals because you feel very overwhelmed by it. So figure out what are those goals that you're giving up on. What are those relationships that you're disinvesting from? And once you've done that over a time, learn to work with it. So the first step is to acknowledge where it is showing up and reflecting on that, and then learning to work. So once we've gone through this first step of self-awareness, we realize that we have a choice. And what is that choice? That choice is telling us that either I can sit in the fear of setbacks and criticism and continue to be in that fixed mindset and look at my talents and abilities as limited and fixed and I can't do anything, I don't have it. Or I can take that plunge and stretch and expand and effort and hard work and perseverance and resilience get better at whatever I'm trying to get. So that choice is always and always. So what I want you to do now is think, and I'm sure in all of our lives we've gone through this, think of a situation first where you always know that you're good at. What are those? It's where you always know that this is a strength I have and I am good at. And if you want to, you can also share that with us on the chat and talk about it. You can unmute and talk. What is the one thing that you think you're good at? ये हुनर आप में है जो आपको आपका strength drawing. Okay, thank you, Asha. Communicating with others. Yes, Sati. It's such a wonderful gift to have. Yes. What are your strengths? What have you always been? Mentoring. Yes, thank you, Kani. Okay, so we all know what are things that we are good at. Now, what are some of those self-limiting beliefs where you think that you will never be good at, or it's really going to be tough for you to be good at? What are those? Mathematics. Yeah, I can totally resonate with you wonderfully. Okay. And one thing that you weren't good at to begin with, but you became good at it over time. What is that? That you learned over time, you got better at it over time. Ray, being a good leader. Yes, thank you. Yeah. I can say for myself, I used to be a terribly shy person. I could never imagine even looking at somebody in the eye and having a conversation. And it was as late till I was in college. And then, of course, I had to change, and I'm happily changed now when I say mentoring people. Yes, thank you. So we've all had this experience, so we know that it works. Great. So let's move on. Now, once you've decided to make that choice, you reframe the talk with a growth mindset. So whatever are those negative fixed mindset voices that are coming, you try and reframe. You use, give it a flip. So when your fixed mindset is telling you that, are you sure you can do it? My growth mindset is saying, I'm not sure I can do it, but I'm definitely going to give it a try. Or when my fixed mindset is telling me that, what if you fail? You will be a failure. Everybody will laugh at you. Then I'm telling myself that if I don't try, I'm already failed. When your fixed mindset is telling you it's not my fault, your growth mindset is saying, I have to fix this. I have to do something. I have to take accountability for it. Likewise, your fixed mindset is telling you this would have been a breeze if I had any talent. If I was talented, I wouldn't have to work hard. I would have just got it, just like that. And your growth mindset then reframes it and says, even great minds must put in effort to succeed. And this is where you need to remember Edison, who said that, remember what Edison said? Anyone remembers his famous statement? Thomas Alva Edison, the inventor of the electric bulb. What did he say when he failed?
I think he said that he found out 99 ways how not to make the bulb.
Yes. Yes. And I think it was not 99, I think it was 1,000 ways. Okay, sorry. The number is really not important, but the learning is, which is that every mistake, every failure, he took it as a learning and said, okay, I found out one more way that it doesn't work, which tells me something else will work. So yeah, thank you so much, Anju. Thank you so much. Okay. And lastly, okay, staying on this, yet is a powerful word that you can use in your vocabulary. Again, with children, with ourselves, with our team members, all of it. And what yet does is we look at these sentences, for example. So if I say I'm bad at data analytics, when I use yet, I say I'm not yet adept at data analytics, which means I'm not giving up on myself. I'm not saying it with the finality. I'm saying, yes, today, in this moment, I am not yet as good at it, which means that there is a possibility that I am going to get. And you know where not yet came from? I'll give you the story also for this, how Karen Dweck came to not yet. So in the universities and schools, we have this grading system, A, B, C, D, whatever. And in one of the schools, she found that children didn't clear, instead of giving them a D or a E or a fail or whatever, they wrote not yet. And that not yet feels so much more empowering and than saying that you failed. So it's that vocabulary then that it's not yet today I can't do it, but I'm at it and someday I will. So I'm not yet able to make a powerful presentation. I'm not yet able to understand negotiation well, but I'll get there. So that's the power of yet that you can include in your vocabulary. And the last thing is when you do all of this, when you take feedback, when you allow for criticism, when you listen to what other people are telling you, then you're actually making space for new ideas to come. And then you're practice hearing both the voices and acting on the growth mindset. So your fixed mindset will tell you why it is not safe, why people will laugh at you, why you should be more cautious and careful. You hear that voice, but act on your growth mindset voice. Take on the challenge, learn from setbacks, hear the criticism, take feedback as a gift and act on it, see it as a learning opportunity, and experiment to learn and do something. So that's finally when you put it into action. So that is the journey, that those are the steps that you need to do. And if you look at an individual level, couple of things that we want you to take away in terms of what you can do. So let's look at those. One, praise the effort, not the time. See, even for yourself, when something goes well, it's praise yourself for the time, effort, energy, investment that you put in, for the number of hours that you may have slogged, for the number of books you may have refused, for the number of people you may have reached out to get guidance and input. Praise the effort, not the talent, because sometimes, in spite of doing that, when you fail, you will not dismiss yourself. You will not just judge yourself on the outcome, but you will also judge yourself on the learning. Because even if the outcome is not as positive, you know that you have learned and second, use the word yet. We just spoke about it. So infuse yet in your vocabulary that I'm not there yet, but I'm going to get there. So that induces possibility in your life. After that, what you need to do is view challenges as opportunities. And what would be life without challenges? So if you look at the best people who've succeeded, you can't name one person who hasn't overcome a significantly difficult challenge. And because they have done that, they have become eminent personalities when we talk about. If you look at any hero's journey, any celebrity, any big figure, right from your Amitabh Bachchan to Shah Rukh Khan to, cricketing celebrities to politicians to corporate buffs, there would be nobody who's achieved pinnacles without having gone through challenges. So view challenge as an opportunity. Uh, Enjoy the journey. You're growing in the process. So don't do it with, oh my God, when am I start? Enjoy the process, enjoy the journey. And lastly, acknowledge and embrace imperfection. I think that's a big problem we have. We are hoping to be perfect, and perfection by itself is an illusion. There is nothing that is perfect. We're all work in progress. We're all learning. And it's okay to embrace that imperfection as long as we know we're trying. And there is nothing like perfect, because otherwise, if we compare ourselves to that illusion of perfection, we will always struggle, we will always demean ourselves, we will always feel bad, and we will always find ourselves lacking at one thing. So embrace that. Now, many of you here are also leaders and you have teams to manage. You are building a culture, you're building our organization. So, how will you imbibe a growth mindset? Establish an environment of openness, transparency, and risk taking. So, what happens is when you allow people to fail, when you allow people to try, when you allow for imperfections to exist, when you value the effort and not just the outcome, what you are doing is you're creating an environment of openness, transparency, risk taking, which is safe, where people can experiment, where people can innovate. And Carol Dweck's study also studied 100 of the top Fortune 500 companies. And they found that there was a 65% better innovation, risk taking, better culture, better engagement in the organizations that had a growth mindset. Because people knew that even if they failed, there was somebody or manager who would cover them up, who would take care of them, who would encourage them. Whereas for the others, they had one foot in the organization and one foot outside, saying that, oh my God, if I make a mistake, then maybe I should circulate my CV and look for the next opportunity, because that won't be tolerated. So allow for learning, allow for mistakes, allow for imperfections, and that will make you a more innovative organization. And how can you do that? You can do that by speaking about your own challenges and risks openly with your teams. Because only when you are vulnerable and when you share your stories, you are allowing your team to also share their concerns, their challenges, the help that they need with you. Because otherwise, if you're that perfect person, they also think that they have to be perfect. And if they're anything less than perfect, then they're not accepted. Be vulnerable, share your challenges, and make it possible for your teams also. Again, when you're doing that, you're creating a culture of inclusion, a culture of collaboration, a culture where everyone is respected and taken care of. So promote development, not fixed skills and talent. So this also depends on, it's also the way your feedback mechanisms are. When you're giving feedback, how are you giving feedback? Are you just telling them, oh, wow, you're a genius. Look at, you have a natural inborn gift, or you're breaking it down and telling them what are the things that they have done. So promote that development. When you're rewarding people, are you also rewarding people for the efforts that they are putting in? When you're rewarding people, are you also rewarding people for going out of their comfort zone and taking up assignments that are risky? So how do you promote people? How do you reward people? And how do you invest in skill building of people? Recognize and value individual accomplishments. So we just spoke about that. And accomplishments is not just the outcome, it is also the process. Thank people, acknowledge people for being great team players, acknowledge them for risk taking, acknowledge them for going out of their comfort zone, acknowledge them for stretching. It doesn't have to be just about accomplishments, it's about how they show up, and also for the softer skills that they demonstrate. And look for fixed mindset, backslides, and address them. So when you see a team member who is taking criticism personally, or is fearing how will other people see me, or what will other people think, and there are those insecurities, identify that and address it, like many of you said, with coaching, with mentoring, with holding, with taking care. And a lot of it will depend on your culture. And if you are adopting a growth mindset, you are adopting a culture of innovation. And lastly, creative problem solving activities that foster any out of box thinking without criticisms or put down. So if you want to be an innovative company, you have to allow for people to take those risks, to think out of the box. And if you're always criticizing, if you're always saying this is the only way to do it, and then much of that creativity will die. So make space for that as well. So with that, we come to a close. We'll summarize what we have done so far, which is we look at more the adoptive growth mindset. It leads to more ambitious goals and challenges, greater growth, performance, resilience, a more positive and collaborative relationships, greater equity, diversity, and inclusion, greater creativity and innovation, and more ethical behavior. And more ethical behavior because, again, this is so important. More ethical behavior because people will be willing to own up mistakes. People will say, I cooped up. Otherwise, if the fear of failure is so high, they will cover up. They will make things up. They will show wrong data. So net, a growth mindset has many benefits for you at a personal level, at an organizational level. Our invitation is reframe your thought, get into a growth mindset, and thrive in your individual capacity and in the organizations that you're leading. That's it from us, and we're open to any questions, anything that anything that you'd like to ask or comment or reflect. You can unmute if you have questions. I'm happy to address those. Any thoughts, any questions?
I
Yeah.
don't have any question, but I just wanted to say that the part of the session where you said how we could reframe using the word yet, I think that was very powerful and something that I would like to incorporate in my day to day life going ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shweta. That's one of the most impactful slides. So what happens is when we get caught up in our day-to-day life, we really don't get time to reflect. So thank you, Asmita, for giving us that time and that space and leading thoughts to be able to pause and reflect and think about how we can make a little difference, because all of us do want to be better. I don't think there's anybody who's in this room who would not want to improve today as compared to yesterday. So thank you so much for that. So we put up a QR code just in case you want to reach us. We're always available, and we will be hosting more sessions. So feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn, and we will be sharing the information there. Thank you for patiently hanging on. If whoever is comfortable, if you can just, I'm going to stop sharing. If you can put your cameras on, we will take a quick photograph. Let's take a print screen. It's not really a photograph. So yeah, let me just get this gallery. Okay. Hello. Hi, Shweta, Asha, Mohana. I can more like get the print screen for whoever it is. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much. Fabulous. This is awesome. I look forward to seeing you in the next session. Bye.
Thank you.
Santosh, I'll be sharing a feedback link so that anyone.
Yeah, sure. You can share it.
So thank you, everyone. And I'm hoping that you can go back and implement some of the things that we spoke of today. And if you have any questions, if you want to connect with us, feel free to reach out and we'll be happy to support you with it. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the lovely session.